nature of the question. One of the things that we've decided to do in my practice, at the risk of actually alienating some of our more upscale clients, was to commit to doing affordable and market rate housing. And the fascinating thing now, almost 20 years later, is that the market in Boston, for example, right now is for smaller, very efficient, well-designed units that a young professional can afford in a very expensive city. And what's fascinating is that the lessons that we learned in affordable housing and SRO housing are actually becoming influential in our design for new market rate housing. So it's not a direct answer to your question, but I think that I feel that there are a lot of, fortunately I think within the architectural profession, there are a lot of people that are very, very committed to very good design for everyone. I think the larger issue is the people who are commissioning. It's how do we make policymakers understand that those issues about quality housing, for example.
So I would say yes, but I think it's hard to really pull that off. Good design as a human right. We are involved in a food program in school in Haiti, in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. A year after the earthquake, I volunteered to go down to Haiti with a Bay Area nonprofit called the What If Foundation, and they've been running a food program there for a decade, and they've realized that actually they need to kind of get out of the food business slowly and go to school, because really education is where is how the Haitian people will bring themselves up. And they have land, there's money, and the way that we're essentially still defining the problem, meaning what is the program and what should it be. But I think that we are trying to instill good design throughout this project, and it's all about what do the students see when they're in their classrooms. When they're eating, do they get to be a part of a kind of food garden? Do they look down upon a kind of garden that's a teaching garden that shows them that actually food comes out of the ground and not from a store? Because that's really kind of what they think there. I mean, a lot of people, they have no connection necessarily to where food comes from. So the didactic component, light, the quality of light, heat, beauty, I think all of those things do need to be a part of projects for everyone. But it's hard. I mean, we're volunteering time, we're going to Port-au-Prince, Haiti, there's no infrastructure, there's nothing, and so I think it's a difficult road.
I also say yes, but my political take on it is that, especially in the United States, the arts aren't valued. It's always seen as an extracurricular activity and secondary to verbal and math skills. And until the arts are given equivalence as part of basic human functioning starting in elementary school education, they will never be considered equivalent. I do think, however, the fundamental existential problem for any human being is the question of place, where do I belong? And architecture in particular is one means of addressing that place. And so as a matter of social justice and human dignity, places of quality will address the condition of being, of who that being is. That being said, the question of taste, I don't think can ever really be addressed. The variety of taste, who's to say what's good in terms of taste is always going to be problematic. There's good in terms of not leaking, not being made of toxic materials, but aspects in terms of design are going to be hard to address with a mandate. The priority of design and commitment to the visual realm in the political sphere is so underdeveloped in our country that we have a long way to go. And I think that just starts in the elementary school education, where art is about making snowmen and kind of snowflakes, as opposed to visual interpretation of the visual world around us.
And I also think designers aren't particularly good at explaining the value proposition in this country. I think that's good design doesn't necessarily have to cost more money. And I think we've done a very bad job of making that case, because for most people, design means a cost that we can't afford. And I think that's something that's our job.
Yeah, so I was thinking that the hierarchy of needs kind of represents like maybe a heuristic tool. So there are kind of rules of thumb that are existing for design, but they're kind of loose and they can be applied in many different ways. So I'm wondering if if you take that conception and you look at the higher ones, like creativity or proficiency in this case, do those heuristics kind of extend down into other heuristics like functionality? Can you look at the whole thing as kind of an interacting, set of heuristics, and then where does value fit into it? So if you have brand values, social values, cultural values, how do those fit into the hierarchy of needs? That's kind of an open question.
Well, I mean, it's sort of what I was trying to say before, but I don't think that, I just don't think it's a hierarchy. I think that exactly creativity does flow down and allows you to interpret function that also it has embedded value that is reinforcing certain identities, that is meeting and exceeding minimum needs and is about ideas and culture, and that I think all of those things are mixed together. For me, because it's just not design if it's not that, but then maybe that's just a kind of a higher idea of what design should aspire to, and maybe it probably doesn't always meet that kind of high bar, but that's the process. The process is synthetic. All of these things affect each other. They're all swirling around, and things rise to the top. There are things that are more important. If the mandate is that the microphone is $10, well, the microphone needs to be $10, but there are many ways in which to conceive of the microphone. Maybe it can be smaller, or it's using cheaper materials, but it has an amazing form, or maybe its lifespan can be shorter. So there's so many things that impact that. But to me, it's just not. It's not hierarchical. Just within myself as a designer, it does not. It is never checking the box and starting at the bottom, making sure these things. Of course, I am a person. We do large projects. We have to meet budgets. I'm not saying that there is no functional needs that are met. That's sort of the minimum criteria, but it's really about a higher order thinking that is affecting all of these other things together and wrapping them up into a single package.
I just want to say one thing Jamie suggested we do is somehow relate some of these things back, not necessarily our projects, but projects. But I think one of the places where a lot of interesting things are happening right now is the workplace, the modern American workplace, where you have these pressures about downsizing space, having more efficient space, but at the same time wanting to create an office culture that's attractive to the right kinds of employees and so forth, and concern about, it's coming from legal sources and sort of ergonomics and all kinds of issues that are sort of coming together in an extremely synthetic way to create a lot of very interesting design around the workplace. And it's happening in furniture, it's happening in space design. It's, I mean, look, I'm thinking about your, that image of your law firm and thinking about IDEO and thinking about projects like that. That's one of the places where I think it illustrates this idea that it's not this kind of pyramid, but that the issues are very holistic and that design does kind of flow through all of them, and that there's a lot of potential in that, in solving those problems, just as an example.
Even when you think about generational identities and how the workplace being shaped for boomers, Gen Y. I mean, those are major social forces shaping generational identities who then become the employees, and the employers need to adjust to their workforce. So it starts from a completely different place, but then goes back and forth.
I think we have time for one more question.
I did a little research about the estimate, the way your estimate is much better than mine, so don't worry about that. I did a little research about the hierarchy of needs, and I found that this paper was done in the human division of 1940. And actually many people criticize it. Someone, a Dutch great Hofstede said that it works differently from individualistic societies and collectivist societies. And I found that these two examples, for example, like the Egyptian Museum, which is a hypospire museum, and Guggenheim Museum in Denmark, right, which actually creativity, which is on the top of the pyramid, is the one that achieved the functionality. So it differs from these two societies alone. Would you agree or not?
There's no question these are major cultural issues, and Jamie and I talked about that on the phone extensively. That I find this a very Western question, a very Western diagram, and I think there are other cultures that may not even bother with the question or would address some of the issues in a completely different way. I don't think I'm equipped to speak for any other culture, but just from general education and observation, there's no question it's a very culturally specific problem that's been posed.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be, one more question. Sure, great.
Mr. Wirt, I'm Swiss also, so from my accent. When you speak about the values that design people have more to focus on value because of the crash of the dollar and the global economy, is it more because you think they're going to be the first to be picked out in case of disaster, or you really think that design has a role to play in a new society model?
Well, there needs to be an end of stupidness. I think the world was never more intelligent than today. The world was never more connected to each other than today. So we have so much of bright and intelligent people. So we should make more of them. And that's what I mean with values. Values to me doesn't mean material values, it can be values, and I see the values in good people. Potential, which I see in Asia, is unbelievable. And I travel a lot, and I was in Russia a couple of weeks ago, and I will go there next week. And to me, it's absolutely fantastic to work internationally. And I think when bright people sitting together and find for the next 10 years the values which we're going to need, we need to solve some problems, some serious problems. There's some water shortage. We have some energy problems. There's a demographic change going on in many countries, Western countries. You just mentioned the culture. We have problems which need to be solved, and there are needs of new solutions. So when we talk hierarchy needs, we also need to see